of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From the place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And yes, it's the morning after the night before. So before we get into the show, if you like what you see, then please smash the like. It really does help the channel up the search results. So smash those likes. Thank you very much indeed. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to do so, helps the channel grow. And bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. So thank you very much indeed, guys, for that. Currently at 439 subscribers, sorry. So I'm only 11 away from 450. So that's absolutely brilliant. And love to reach 500 before the end of March. That would be fantastic. One thing I do want to say is thank you to everybody who comes on and watches the channel. You know, it really does help. And this morning, I've actually smashed the 4,000 watch hours. So I've only been going since October, so 4.5 months. And I've already broke through 4,000 hours. So that's a fantastic achievement. And it's all thanks to you coming on and watching the content that I'm putting out there. So thank you very much to everybody involved. Thank you. Let's go to a comment. Jack from Toon TV. Morning, Tony. How are you, the lads? Yeah, absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. I mean, what a game last night that was. I mean, you know, it was fantastic. And obviously, with doing the show, I didn't see interviews, things like that. So I watched the shows and, the interviews. And I just thought, to be fair, Gary Neville is absolutely spot on with the offside. And I'm going to get into that in a moment. So got a couple of more comments here. Luke says, morning, Tony. Brilliant news. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, thank you. Toon fan quadruple 4 says, good morning, Tony. Proud of the lads' effort again last night. Well, all but 2 of them. Maxi wasn't interested. Bottom was way too sloppy. Bad night for him, but the rest was superb. Do you know what it is? I know Eddie's saying Maxi had an injury, but I don't think he did. I just think he wasn't effective enough last night. Elliot Anderson proved those 45 minutes he can do it, but he's got to get into that team and do it for a longer period. But he done very well. Unlucky not to have a goal. Botman, yes, he was a bit sloppy last night, which is unusual for Botman because he's been absolutely fantastic this season. If that's his one bad game, do you know what? We let him off. He's got plenty credit in the bank, that's for sure. So, but all in all, fantastic performance. Jake says, would have been a different story if you finished 1-1 with that decision. Do you know what it is? It would have totally been a total different decision, different game, yeah. And I think Eddie Howe would be fuming. Toon444 says, Willock is grown into a cracking player, very vocal, marshalling the player's direction, getting stuck in. Yeah, he is, absolutely. And do you know what? He's going to be a snip of a signing from Arsenal, that's for sure. And Arsenal may well look at Willock and think, oh, hang on a minute, have we missed a trick here? Should we have kept him? And should he be in the England team, Joe Willock? And my thoughts, absolutely. I mean, even Jamie Carragher said last night, Dan Burn should be in the England side, even not as a left back, but as a centre half. So that's coming from Carragher. Toon4444 says Maxi's legs were fine. He was sprinting. Eddie being diplomatic, I think. By the way, it's Andrew DB. I was trying a new screen name, but can't change back for 2 weeks. No worries, Andrew, mate. No worries. Paul says, morning, watching from work, regretting doing overtime now. Yeah, I bet you are, mate. Yeah, exactly. And Andrew says, Byrne worked his balls off again. Yeah, he did, absolutely. I mean, yes, last night, as I say, we went up 1-0 through Alexander Isak, and yeah, I mean that was a great goal he scored last night. The equaliser, a lot of skill in that, and in effect it's a volley off his shin, but to come off his shin, that could have gone anywhere, and for him to have that control, and when you think that ball was played just behind him, so he had to readjust, and you know what? It just shows you how much of a terrific striker he really is. But then we had the undoing by, yes, you've got it, VAR. Again, VAR came in. Elliot Anderson, headed the goal in and celebrating. And then, oh, hang on, there's a VAR check. Oh, for an offside. What offside? Longstaff. He's not offside. Surely not. Now, this is where we'll get into the rules. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen now. And this is from the FA's website. And this is law 11 on the offside. So, it's not an offence to be in an offside position. So it says a player in an offside position if any part of the head, body or feet is in the opponent's half, excluding the halfway line, or any part of the head, body or feet is nearer the opponent's goal line, both the ball and second last opponent. Okay? So, the hands and arms of players, we all know that about the offside there, right? But the offence for an offside, this is where it gets interesting. A player is in offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched by a teammate is only penalised on becoming involved in active play by interfering with the play by playing or touching the ball passed or touched by a teammate, or interfering with an opponent by preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball clearly, obstructing the opponent's line of vision. Now then, so basically, if we break that down, now when Felipe cleared that ball, now this is according to VAR and Paul Tierney, this is their skeptic on it. We haven't had any official confirmation from them, by the way. So what they're saying is Felipe didn't make any attempt to clear that ball. It was a deflection of him. Now, if you go back and watch the incident, you clearly see Felipe clearing that ball. He gets down on the ground and scoops it out with his foot. And then it hits his next defender, which is Nayakati, who then kicks it off Sean Longstaff. So, if you look at that little bit there, for example, he hasn't been impeded by playing the ball. So, where have they getting this offside from? So, you had that bit, and then clearly attempt to play a ball which is close to this action impacts on an opponent. Right, so basically, we're seeing there different situations, but was Sean Longstaff in his line of vision? Not really. Was he in front of him? No. If Sean Longstaff was in front of him and he was blocked from playing the ball, then yeah, okay, that is an offside. But he wasn't. He was nowhere near Felipe. So for this goal to be ruled out, I just don't understand where they're getting this from. And even Gary Neville said the same. Felipe has made an attempt to clear that ball. And Gary Neville says, as he is a former defender, he's been in that position many a times where he's cleared the ball like that. And he said, he does not understand why VAR has cancelled out a perfectly legal goal, because that's what he says it is. It's a legal goal. He says, because Felipe has cleared the ball. And when you see Felipe clear it, I think it's Nayakati, who's in front of Longstaff, then kicks the ball and hits it off Longstaff, which then deflects into the path of Isak, who's actually on the floor, gets up, puts in a lovely little dink cross, and Elliot Anderson heads it in the back of the net. Now, in all, I think that should have stood that goal. And I just hope Howard Webb looks at that and thinks, hang on, we've made an error here. And, guys, what do you think in the chat? Do you think that goal should have stood last night? Because, looking at those rules there and what the offside law says, it clearly states that technically Longstaff was not offside. So it looks like, again, we have been robbed. Andrew says, hangover, Paul. He says, no, can't be bothered, but I work from home, so not bad. That's all right, mate. That's not too bad, Paul, is it, working from home, mate? So, yeah. But Anderson goal, the most bent decision I've ever watched, says Andrew. Do you know what it is, Andrew? It is because when you look at it, there is no way Longstaff is offside. I mean, Felipe plays that ball, and I just don't get it. Bias says, whenever a ref is sent the screen, that's for telling them they have it wrong, so they always overturn it. Thing is, though, Bias, we don't normally see referees going for offsides. So I'm just curious to know what they're actually looking at. I think, in all honesty, Peter Banks, the who was on VAR duty last night, I think he's hung Tierney out to dry. Because I don't think he wanted to make that decision. So he's took the easy option out and said, right, Paul Tierney, you go and have a look and see what you think of it. And then obviously he's come back and said, no goal. So he doesn't make the wrong decision. Well, it's not the wrong decision because the correct decision should have been a goal. But if he allows that goal, he knows the crowd's going to be on his back. And that's why I think he's changed his mind and said, no, it's offside because I don't want that crowd on me back. As soon as he said it was offside, that crowd was lifted and Forest started playing a bit. But we quietened them down. Big ups, Tony Boy, says Neil. Yeah, big up to you as well, mate. Cheers, thank you. BS says it's never a deflection. They play it intentionally twice. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, they have. The Felipe clears it, and then, yeah. Luke says, looking at the rules, they have messed up big time with this one. Imagine if we did not get the late winner. Exactly. Eddie Howe would be well pissed. Absolutely. Toon fans, I think the Spurs owner must have been in the ref's earpiece. Do you know what it is, Andrew? Wouldn't surprise me. Paul says, I think the next few games, the ones against Man U, Spurs and Brighton are all home games. I think if we win those, tough 4 hours. Do you know what it is? I think you're absolutely right, mate. Yeah. Bias says, I agree. If they control the lanes, it's not offside. Exactly. Corrupt says, Jake. Yeah. Alan says, well, thankfully we got the winner and it doesn't matter now. That's the thing, Alan, it doesn't. But it crushes a young man because Elliot Anderson thought he had scored. And, at that point, had we, yes, we might have got that penalty still at the end, but we could have run away with that game maybe after that, but who knows? Andrew says, only one team wanted to win that game, in my opinion, deserved 3 points. Absolutely, Andrew, we deserved them 3 points, 100%. I mean, the end of the day, it was just bad officiating last night. I know I had Rowley on and he sort of like was disagreeing a bit about the referee and he didn't really see the match. But in all honesty, I just think Paul Tierney was very, very poor last night as a referee. And I think the standard of refereeing in this country is not great at all. Yes, we've got a couple of excellent referees, but the rest of them are just mediocre. And I think a big overhaul is needed in the summer. And let's hope Howard Webb does that. But yeah, it's not great at all. And then obviously at the end of the game, we get a penalty. And VAR couldn't turn that one down because it was nailed on. And then we saw Trippier going up with the ball. Sky putting his graph up. Oh, he's missed one, but he scored one. Because it was all a ploy. that was just so the keeper and the players didn't get an Isak's head. So as soon as they got booked and walked back their goal mouth and that, and players cleared away, give the ball to Isak. There you go, mate. Take the penalty and score the goal. And Isak scored, and that's what he told the goalkeeper: shut up. Best way to silence people. And that's excellent from Isak. And I'll tell you what it is. Craig Hope's put out a tweet saying, wait until Isak's fully fit. Now, that's scary to think if Craig Hope's saying he isn't fully fit yet. Because once this guy gets motoring, I think there's going to be a lot of teams in the Premier League are going to fall foul of it. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a few of these bigger teams thinking, why didn't we look at Alexander Isak? I know Arsenal's looked at him in the past. And I think now if he stays fit between now and the end of the season or doesn't get a suspension, I can't see Callum Wilson getting back in that starting lineup, in all honesty. I really can't. Jake says shirt pull in the box as well. Yeah, the shirt pull, yeah. Why wasn't that looked at? That was another one. Bias says the ref lost control of the game when he didn't boot Ayew at the start. Clear, yellow, possibly red. Yeah, definitely. And also Steve Cooper saying about our equaliser, he said there was a foul in the build-up because Ayew's ankle was clipped, like the back of his foot was clipped. But the goal stood, and he says, but I'm not going to criticise the referee. And I thought, hang on a minute. Yes, he was clipped, but as Gary Neville said, it wasn't enough for VAR to say, oh, you have to turn that goal, you have to chalk that goal off. So, yeah, I think just clutching at straws there. Toon fan says, Andrew, sorry, he says, Trips pretend to take the pen was quite funny. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Because everybody thought, because I looked and I thought, hang on, why is Trippier taking it? Why not Isak? He takes the penalties. Well, he did against Bournemouth and scored it with aplomb. So I thought, why isn't he taking the penalty? And then it was all just gamesmanship. And Navas didn't even move, did he? Because he didn't even know where that penalty was going. What a penalty taker Isak is. And I just can't wait till this lad gets up to speed. I just hope when he goes on the Sweden squad, I just hope they look after him this time and he doesn't pick up any injuries, because we can't afford Isak being out now. We really need Isak in that team. 7 starts, and out of 10 games played, and he scored 6 goals. It's tremendous, isn't it? Tremendous. Another special mention I want to give as well, because this guy has had yet another cracking game. And it's to say this lad's had a cracking game, it is just bizarre, because you would have thought he wouldn't feature, and he's been used quite a bit as a substitute. Jacob Murphy. Now, I thought Murphy did a terrific job last night, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Again, a player I can see, probably a player that I thought might be out the door this summer. I'm now looking at him thinking, I don't think he's going in the summer. I think we'll keep him. I think he'll be a squad player, because in the summer we will strengthen more, but he will be an important part of the team. And Jacob Murphy, I don't think will be leaving the club in the summer. But this afternoon, Spurs play 3:00 away to Southampton. Not an easy game for Spurs. And they will be worrying, because they know we're only 1 point behind them with 2 games in hand. And they know any slip-ups this afternoon, and we win them 2 games in hand, they're done for. And they will not enjoy that one little bit. So, So Tottenham Hotspur, beware. We are after you. And, that will be a tough game at St Mary's for them. And I wouldn't bet against James Ward-Prowse popping in a 35-yard free kick against them. And I'll tell you what, Fraser Forster will get some stick, because he's going back to Southampton, isn't he? So, one of his former clubs, and so he's going to get some stick. But yeah, Southampton are fighting for their lives, so they're going to want to stay in the Premier League, so they're going to do everything they can to win the game. So this afternoon, we'll all be Saints fans hoping, come on, Southampton, win this one. And who knows, Spurs are very, very inconsistent. But again, it's one we just wait and see. And then tonight you've got Chelsea, Everton. Well, Everton, Chelsea. I can see Chelsea winning that game, in all honesty. I can't see Everton winning that. And I really want to see Everton go down, to be fair, at the end of the season. Coffee says, hi, Tony and all. Hi to you, Coffee. Hope you're well, mate. But yeah, what's been a terrific night last night, and this morning we're still buzzing. And it's not buzzing because we've just beat Nottingham Forest. It's the fact is, it's the way we've done it. We dominated that game last night. Absolutely dominated that game. And to think that it was a hard-fought win. I did say it would be a tough place to go. I said to everybody, this will not be easy. This will be hard. And I was spot on. It was a hard place to go to. But we got the right result. Them players from Nottingham Forest last night were a disgrace because, and I include Shelby in that, they were all out to try and injure our players, because I was convinced that if they got a couple of injuries, they knew our bench weren't that great. I mean, when Shah got that injury from Ayew, it looked like, Shaw might be off. And, could be Lascelles coming on. But thankfully, Shea was fine and got up and played on. But, yeah, like I say, they're a disgrace. Whether they go down or not at the end of the season, we don't know. But we don't care, because it's got nothing to do with us. We can just stand back and watch a relegation battle commence and just let them get on with it, because we don't even worry about that no more. Coffee says, I didn't get any sleep last night after the win. Yeah, not a lot, mate. No, exactly. And I mean, it was hard to, wasn't it? Luke says, as a break comes at a bad time with us hitting fresh. Do you know what I think it is, Luke? I think the breaks probably come at the right time, especially if Mickey's out for a little while, and obviously, we've got Mickey out for a few weeks, about 6 weeks, I reckon. So if that's like, so you've got this week and then you've got the 3 week. So he's going to be, so the 3 weeks that he's missing, we're not playing. So he's all right. So he'll miss a few games. But to be fair, I think, it's come at the right time. Gives us a chance to reset and refocus. And I'm sure Eddie Howe will sort the team out and say, right, okay, let's get back to what we're doing. And let's put these wrongs right. I mean, if Botman had looked over his shoulder and saw Dennis, he doesn't play that ball to Pope. But because Botman didn't give a little glance, he just passed it thinking there was nobody there. How wrong was he? Because Emmanuel Dennis was there and he was straight on the ball. Coffee says, 2 times at the post, 3 world-class saves from Navas, 1 wrongly disallowed goal. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that free kick from Trippier, that was very clever. That was worked off the training ground. And unfortunately hit the bar off Lodi. And then Longstaff hit the crossbar as well through a deflection. If it didn't take a deflection, I think it just goes in unless Navas makes a fantastic save. Got to remember, Keylor Navas is a fantastic goalkeeper. He's a very decorated goalkeeper. You've got to look at him and think he's won Champions Leagues, he's won La Ligas, he's won Ligue 1, he's won Copa del Rey. I think he's won the Club World Cup as well with Real Madrid. So he's a very decorated, trophy-laden player. So Navas is class. Even though he's 36, he's still a class keeper. I wouldn't say no to Navas's second is our backup option to Pope, because I think he's terrific. He really is. I know a lot of Forest fans were out last night saying apparently if it was Dean Henderson in goal, Isak wouldn't have scored because Henderson would have saved it. Well, I doubt he would have. So they can't say that if Henderson was in that, Isak would have missed, because he wouldn't have. He would have scored past Henderson. Coffee says Trippier the main game straight from the draw of Atletico and Simeone. Absolutely. Absolutely, Coffee. You're 100% right. That's the thing with Trippier. He knows how to play the game. And when you think Trippier was coming up against two of his ex-teammates actually come up against three ex-teammates last night in that Forest team, because you had Shelby, but then at the back for Forest you had Felipe, who played with him at Madrid, Atletico, and Renan Lodi, who plays at Atletico because he's only on loan. Some people are saying, are we looking at Renan Lodi? I don't think so. I'm not that impressed with Renan Lodi, to be fair. There is reports going around that apparently we are looking at going back in the summer to buy a Leverkusen for the left back, Mitchell Bakker, who we did look at last January, and then we didn't get him because they wouldn't sell. And then it's sort of been like it tailed off. But all of a sudden, we look as if we might be back in for him. And that's Botman's mate, so who knows? I mean, it's not like Botman's mate, but it's a teammate of Botman's in the Dutch under-21s. So again, we could be looking at him. Who knows? That could just be paper talk, but it is just rumours. Coffee says, credit to Dennis for pouncing on the opportunity from Botman. That's it. He didn't give up, did he? He didn't give up and he just carried on. That's what I'm saying. If Botman just gave that little glance, he would have saw Dennis and he wouldn't play that ball, or he would have played it a bit harder, so he would have got nowhere near it. Coffee says, shh, don't say the name. Todd Bowley may be watching. Yeah. I mean, God, that man, I mean, honestly, the amount of targets people have lost because Chelsea have gone in and got them. I mean, if they win today, they do climb into a European place. But other teams have got games in hand, like Brighton, because Brighton are in the FA Cup at the moment. So, you know, I would love Chelsea not to make Europe, but knowing Chelsea, they'll just be lucky and they'll drag themselves in there. But again, we just wait and see on that one. But as I say, it was a great night last night, and the hard-fought victory paid off at the end, and we got the just rewards. And I think it would have been, in all honesty, it would have been a travesty had we not won that game last night. Jake says, if Botman went straight to tackle him instead of going to block it, he could have won it back. Yeah, possibly could have. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Trippier is small, isn't he? So he couldn't get up to get that header. You needed a taller player in there. But it was a good finish and can't take it away from the guy. I've always said Emmanuel Dennis isn't a bad player. But yeah, you know, that was a quality goal and you can't take that away from him whatsoever. But, right, let's go on to the next part. So anyway, if you like what you see, then please smash the likes. It really does help the channel up the search results, so smash those likes, thank you. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to do so, helps the channel grow, and the bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. So thank you very much indeed for that. Yeah, so I'm going to just bring something up now on screen. And this is the Premier League table. So there we go. How good does that table look? 26 games, 12 won, 11 drawn, 3 lost. 47 points. Still got the best defence in the league. You know, absolutely brilliant how well we have defended this season. And remember, people said Eddie Howe can't defend. Well, I'm sorry, the stats don't lie, and it does say there we've conceded 19 goals and we're the best in the league defensively, so Eddie Howe can defend. I mean, this afternoon Brentford play. If they win, they move above Liverpool into 6th, because Liverpool's game's called off because of the cup. But yeah, Brighton move up there, and also, Brentford move above Brighton and Liverpool. And if Chelsea win, they'll be just outside. They'll just be outside that European spots. But I can't see Everton getting anything against Chelsea unless Chelsea have a really, really bad game, and then they don't get anything at all. But to be fair, I can't see that happening because Brentford have got Leicester, which is a big game, and Chelsea's at home to Everton. And at the bottom end of the table, as we can see there, it's very, very tight. A win for Southampton leapfrogs them out up to 16th. And that really does put the trouble in West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Forest, Wolves, Palace. So all in all, a lot of these teams are probably hoping Tottenham beat Southampton. Everything's to play for in the Premier League. And again, we just have to wait and see what happens. But that table looks even better this morning, doesn't it? So I'll just get back into some comments. Find where we were. Yeah, we saw that one. Hope Anderson gets more game time. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he looked really good when he came on last night. In the 45 minutes, he looked up for it. So, yeah, maybe left wing's his position. And Coffey says in the right position. Yeah, who knows? But I thought Anderson had a decent game last night when he came on. He done a lot more in that 45 minutes than ESM did in the first half. And I don't like to criticise ESM because I think ESM's a good player, great player on his day, but just not one of his days, was it? But Isak is looking fantastic. And a lot of people are already likening Isak to like Thierry Henry. This guy is just going to get better and better. And remember, he's only 23, so he's nowhere near his peak at the moment. So he's just going to get better. But yeah. This afternoon, I am back at 2 p.m. So get your calendar sorted out. 2 p.m. this afternoon, get that marked down. I'll have Macy on from Devils United, and we'll be talking all things football. I'm going to put one important thing to her this afternoon, and I'm going to see what her response is to it. And I'm sure she'll give us a pretty good response to the question that I'm going to ask her. And yeah, it should be a cracking show this afternoon, so make sure you join in for that one. David says, was it just me or was that ref awful from kickoff? David, he was absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking, mate. I mean, it was just, I hope he's demoted. I mean, he was really poor, Paul Tini, and yeah, I really hope he is demoted because he shouldn't be reffing. You've just joined, David, but the thing is, the offside rule, even Gary Neville is confused why it was called offside, that goal. Now, if you look at it, if you go back and just watch that incident, and that's what I tell everybody in the chat to do now, just go back and watch that incident after the show. Now, watch Felipe. He attempts to clear that ball. It then goes to Nayakati, who then goes on to clear it. He then nicks it off Longstaff, who then goes into Isak, who's on the floor, gets up, crosses it, and then Elliot Anderson headers home. Now they're saying because offside is Longstaff, but he isn't impeding play. And because Felipe has made an attempt to clear that ball, that goal should have stood. It should not have been chalked off. It was never a chalking off. So, like I say, after this show, just have a look on YouTube and just get that goal up, and you'll see exactly where Felipe is trying to clear that ball. Alan says, I see Kieran Maguire saying we have a lot of freedom with FFP than people think. Also, Blog says Madison top target in Champions League would seal the deal. Do you know what, Alan? I mean, Kieran Maguire is a brilliant, brilliant guy. Finance expert, knows his stuff, knows everything he needs to know about football, finances, and yeah, he's absolutely spot on. And yeah, if we get Champions League, Madison would come. I think that would be a seal of the deal. But yeah, I mean, top four still a possibility. But again, like I say, even if we finish seventh, it's still European spot, and I wouldn't be disappointed. But if we continue this form till the end of the season, let's see where we are come April. We've got another month to go. Actually, we're coming into April, aren't we? So we'll be in April by the time we play. Let's see where we are by the end of April, and let's hope we're in that top four. Beat Man United, we'll go above them. If Spurs lose today, we go above them as well, so we'd be third after the international break. Coffee says, I saw a clip of Adam's video where Trippier and Longstaff were concerned about a child who was pulled out the crowd after the penalty. There were Owl fans on Twitter having a go in comment section. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The Owls fans, they obviously have got an agenda against us because obviously having safety concerns. If the chair was pulled out of there, it was probably because everybody was in a mad rush forward because we'd scored the winner. And emotions were high last night. So, yeah, I'll have to check that out and I'll have a look. And did you say that's on Twitter, is it? Or on his video? On his video, okay. I'll have on Twitter, yeah. So I'll have a look at that coffee and see what happened there. But, yeah. But guys, this was just a short show this morning because, as I say, I'm back on again this afternoon at 2 p.m. with Macy from Devils United. So do catch up with that show then. You can find me down there at TonyTooney31 on Twitter. So if you give me a follow, I'll follow you back. But yeah, if you like what you see, then please smash the like button. It really does help the channel up the search results. So smash those likes on your way out. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to do so. Helps the channel grow. And the bell notification tells you when I'm live. I have a pre-record of any upcoming show. So this afternoon, you'll be notified of the show. But Eddie Howe, again, has worked his magic. And given Anderson the chance, absolutely fantastic in the second half. But yeah, I mean, on one last thing on last night's game, they were living in hope, I think, Forest fans, but they were hoping that this was a penalty when Nick Pope and Surridge clashed. But as you can clearly see, Nick Pope has saved the ball first, and it was Surridge who ran into Pope. And I saw a comment as well from the Forest fans, I think it was. Why didn't Pope just pull down Dennis in the penalty area? Because he can do that and he gets away with it. He can do what he wants. And I just thought, you know what? Fuck off. Don't be like that. Don't be sour grapes. You know, I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But did you see how quickly that stadium started emptying once we got the winner from the penalty spot? Yeah. That's it. You just go off home, back to your homes and go and sulk. Any clues for tomorrow? Yes, I will be on a secret location tomorrow, but sorry, there is no early clues, but you'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. Quite a few Forest fans were complimentary about our win and were criticising their players. Yeah, I mean, you get the mixture. It's always a minority, but yes, there is some of them that are complimentary towards us and said, yes, we played well, and, you know, but you saw it straight away when Nia Carty, once he put his hand up and a hit there, and he just put his head in his hands, it was like he knew straight away, shit, I've just gave a penalty away. Ryan Wardley, good morning to you. He says, Toon Black and White Army. Absolutely, mate, absolutely. We're all buzzing still after last night, and, you know, absolutely brilliant in it. So, yeah. And if you're new to the channel, mate, please hit the subscribe. That'd be great. Thank you very much. But yes, I am back at 2 p.m. this afternoon. So tune in on the channel at 2 p.m. when I'll have Macy on. and we'll be talking all things football. She is a lovely girl, Macy, and yeah, she's very, very knowledgeable. LA Coffee says, the Forest fans love Bruno's gesture, giving the shirt to a child, and we're applauding it. That's absolutely brilliant. But Bruno's a great guy, isn't he? What a fantastic player he is for us. And yes, he had quiet moments in the game, but I thought those times he was running at that Forest defence, and he did very, very well. Macy is a Macy, and it says Coffee. Yep, absolutely, mate. But yeah, guys, so I'm going to wrap up there. But if you've just joined the show, you can catch it back up again anyway. And but yeah, I'm back at 2, so I will see you back here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Don't forget to tune in. If you can't tune in, then you'll just have to catch up with the show later. But until then, enjoy what you're doing this morning, and I will see you later on at 2 o'clock. Bye-bye for now. Have a great day. How are the lads? Up the tune.